Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday Night Live, and welcome to the replay if you're watching this after the fact. But yeah, gonna hang out, chat for a little bit. I got my lightsaber here. I don't know if anybody likes that, wants to see that. Hey Fire Guy, hey Arturo, Henry, welcome to the stream. Yeah, my new I made a new well, I switched my NeoPixels into an enhanced red blade because it's better. I like it. It's better. I like better that way. Excuse me. Sorry, that was weird. Anyway, so yeah. Hey, Connor, grandson. How's it going, Russell? Ethan, nice. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Everybody who's here. Wow, 17 of you already. That's awesome. So anyway, it's gonna be a Q&A night. If I can get this in my saber, there we go. And hey, Tom. Oh. I love my lightsaber. It's just so nice. Brian, why is the sky blue? I'm going to be moderating Brian tonight. I can tell already. Justin, glad everything went well for you, buddy. Very glad. Looking forward to the future of that. So, how's the Force Forms Dark Lord helmet? Is it worth it? I haven't seen that helmet, Arturo. So I couldn't say. I would venture to guess no, but without seeing it, I can't really say. So anyway, thanks, Undertale. It's my favorite. In case anybody was wondering what my favorite saber is, this is it right here. The camera can focus on it. It's my Vader saber, and it's awesome. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. There we go. Yeah. And look, it even has like getting more accurate weathering here. So this is by the way, this is an aluminum. Normally they come with a resin sort of thing, but this is aluminum that I got. I got one of the last few that a guy in Sweden produced. And I was really glad because I had just dropped mine at like my second event ever, and this cracked, and I didn't want to repair it with epoxy, and so I got one of his, and I had to mill it out a little bit to make it fit and all that. So, but it was totally worth it because it's awesome. And yeah, this is my favorite saber, and with NeoPixels, it's even better. So, hey Logan, Jeremy, welcome. Thanks for subscribing from Vegas. Nice. Is my helmet a multi-piece like in ROTJ? So which ROTJ? Because there's the reveal helmet, which is like many multi-piece, and then there's the regular helmet that they use for filming almost everything, which is two-piece, faceplate and dome. Mine is a faceplate and dome. I don't do the neck strap. I don't do the jaw thing. It's heavy as it is, so I wouldn't want to have more weight than necessary when already carrying a lot of extra weight. So mine is a two-piece. It's the faceplate and the dome. And that's the way all of them were in the movie, except for the one scene in ESB where the top gets put on, and then the scene in Return of the Jedi where they take the helmet apart and take it off. So, but thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Good to have you here. Tom Arthas, hey, good. Good. Things are good. It was blowing 100 miles an hour here today. The wind was blowing 100 miles an hour. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get to stream because the power kept fluctuating, and you just never know. But thankfully, it all calmed down, and so here we are talking, saying hi, and things. Hey, Michelle, Fire Guy, how's the kids? They're good. They're ready to be done with school, which is next week for us, I think. So yeah. Elias, you're from Finland. Nice. Well, welcome. Hopefully, it's starting to warm up for you like it is for us. Although you're probably a little further north than we are, but hopefully it's getting nicer and springtime's around the corner. Let's see. K-Cent, you just ordered all of your soft parts for your ESB Vader. Almost there. You are. That's fantastic. Do you already have a helmet and armor, or are you waiting on that still as well? Because yeah, these soft parts is going to be fun. That's a lot of fun to get those. So yeah, Jeremy, I don't do the reveal. it's a lot of extra parts, and it makes an already heavy and slightly uncomfortable costume heavier and more uncomfortable than it already is. So yeah, I don't do that. But yeah, I know there's a few guys that do reveal Vaders, like with the jaw part, and then they like bald themselves and scar things up and all that. And it's pretty convincing. My favorite version of Vader, my favorite look of Vader is the classic just helmet look, the way he is there. So yeah. K-Cent, still waiting on the armor and belt. Still need the chest box. Okay. Well, you're getting close. You're getting very, very close. All right, especially if you already have the helmet. That's fantastic. So, Tom, Megtooth says it's 70 there, 11 p.m., 70 degrees, and you're walking the dog. Yeah. My consolation is that in another month or two, it'll be really hot there, and it won't be so hot here. So that's the only thing I can console myself with is like, anyway, yeah. Arturo asks, when I explain the differences between A&H and Rogue One helmets, what helmet did you use? The EFX. And you turn the EFX into a decent ESB? So great question. I'm so glad that the chat now is recorded and plays when somebody rewatches this. But so yes, I used the EFX helmet to show some of the differences between A New Hope and Rogue One. There are other differences aside from the inside of the dome is smooth in Rogue One. It's not in A New Hope. And then the dome placement is a little higher and a little bit different in Rogue One than it is in A New Hope. And there's little incised lines on the tusks right there where the helmet would come apart. Like I swear they must have been planning to do a scene where he takes his helmet off, like maybe when he is in the back to tank or something like that, and he comes out and he puts the helmet on or something like that. I'm almost positive because you can see the little incised lines there from where the face mask would lift off of the jaw. But then the other difference is the tusk tubes, the tubes that go back here on Rogue One are a little narrower, not the tubes themselves, but they don't fan out as far as they go back on Rogue One as they do on A New Hope or ESB or Return of the Jedi. So that's most of it. The paint job's a little different. The eye lenses are a little bit more red as opposed to like amber grayish. But anyway. So, and then the question as to, could you turn the EFX into a decent ESB? You could, because originally when they did ESB, they took in A New Hope helmet and chopped the forehead off and filled that in a little bit and made some other changes and repainted it. So it made the chin vent bigger and stuff like that. So you could do that. It would be a lot of work and it would be a lot of Bondo work. I wanted to try it and then realized just there's no way I'm going to have time to ever do that. So maybe I will someday, but yeah. So yeah, you'd have to change the dome mounting position a little bit and repaint it and fix a few other things or change a few other things to make it work, but you definitely could. So 73 right now in Central Russell. Nice. All you people with your nice 70-degree weather. Psh, psh, psh. That's like a warm summer day for us. 73 right there. That's like the sun's been out for, like 18 hours and it's 73. So, although we do occasionally get up into the 80 range if it's been really sunny for a while. And then, yeah. So, Arthas asked if I have any plans to see Solo. I do. I plan to go see it in the theater once for sure. I don't know if I'll go to see it twice or 3 or 4 times or anything like that. Depends on the first showing. If I like it, maybe I'll go back to see it again. So yeah, but I do plan to go see it in the theater and I'm keeping my expectations low. So that hopefully I just get to enjoy the movie and not be like a lot of Star Wars fans who either instantly love and think it's the best thing since sliced bread or instantly hate and think it's the worst thing since just ever. I find it interesting that Star Wars fandom is so that way that it's like night and day. There's hardly anything in between. People either love it or they hate it. And there's almost no one in the middle. It's interesting. And I think Star Wars fans are probably some of the most loyal and enthusiastic fans there are for a genre. Anyway, Jeremy, is it close to 100 there? Dear Lord. That's warm already. Yeah, that's you fans would be a must for sure. And thanks for the comment on my costume. I appreciate that. Jaskarn asks, which version of Vader do I prefer? So I like Empire Strikes Back, which is the costume I wear currently. Return of the Jedi is also one of my favorites because that was the costume I started with, was Return of the Jedi. I think right now I probably like ESB, Empire Strikes Back, the best. It has a little bit more aggressive look to it. It's a little bit meaner looking, and his saber's a little, more seen and stuff like that. So I like that. That's my favorite right now. Justin says, when it gets 80, snowtroopers melt. True science fact. Are they made of snow? Is that why? And then what happens with the salt troopers from Crate? Because if they're made of salt, like, do they dissolve in water, or can they not get wet? Is that what happens there? So Eli says she's about to speak Finnish. Nice. Arthur says, I usually don't care about the store-bought Vader helmets. What do I think of the new Black Series helmet? It's a multi-piece reveal with so many details. So, the new Black Series Vader helmet. I think the best way to display the Black Series Vader helmet is apart, so that all the details can be seen. When it's together, the proportions and the overall shape and look of it are just wrong. It's too squatty. The faceplate's a little too big. The dome isn't, and the flare isn't quite right. And it just but if you take it apart and you kind of have it spaced out where you can see the chin and the face mask and then the dome and all that kind of separated, it's pretty decent. So, yeah. Hey Nova, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Jeremy, you won a Black Series for your birthday. Black Series helmet, or I assume you're talking about helmet since that's what we're talking about. So Shin says he's in the middle when it comes to the movies. Get caught up. Justin says Salt Troopers just complain about it. Okay, yeah, they can complain about it. I guess that's fine. So have I seen new images for the range troopers? They look like sand troopers that went to a thrift shop and dived into a bucket of paint, but you like the look. That's a pretty good description, actually. Yeah, I think I've seen the pictures of them. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah. Anyway. Arthur says it's 15 C in Montreal, which is about 59 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's pretty close to us. We were a little colder today because it was blowing. The wind was blowing 100 miles an hour, and it was rainy. So essentially, we had a hurricane, like a low-grade hurricane, for most of the day today. Several houses in an area near here, their roofs got taken off. A few houses that were being built got blown over, and yeah, so it was just not pleasant to be outside today. That's for sure. So, you got, congratulations, Michelle. You got 2 golds this weekend for your track meet. That's fantastic. You must be fast. I am not fast off the line. I can go for a long time, or at least I could when I was running regularly, but I was not fast. But I could usually outlast almost anybody. So, yeah, so that's Vader. The Black Series Vader helmet is, yeah, it's not my favorite. But then again, when I sit with my helmet, which is my ESB helmet, especially, is a direct cast off of one of the 20th century helmets. So it's 2 generations removed from the original ESB helmet. And then comparing anything to that is a lot to stand up to, or be compared to. So that's kind of like, that's where my reference is. And so when I see something that's not in that same league, I don't see it the same way. And I know other people are that way with other things too. And it's just kind of the way it goes. I don't know. I don't know how Tom is, Megtooth Sith, with his Kylo stuff, but especially when you start staring at something intently for months and months and months and months and months as you're building a costume, and you start seeing all of these little details and all these little bits, and then when you see something that doesn't match up with what your brain has imprinted into it of what it should look like, it really stands out to you. So yeah, that's the way it is. Let's see. Arthas says Arthas says the Black Series may not be, but it's definitely looks better than episode 3 voice changer helmet. Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. And that's what I say. Like, it, for what it is, it's really cool. The reveal part and the jaw part and stuff, I think is really, really cool. It's for a scale perspective, it's undersized, and but that's fine. It is pretty cool. And actually, really, I would say kudos to Black Series for those guys, the people that developed that, for putting something like that out, because it's extremely detailed. It has lots of details on it. So that's Meg 2 says anal retentive. It's true. You get a little OCD about this stuff, and then it's really hard to unsee certain things. So Jeremy has 2 questions. 1, what was your most rewarding troop? And 2, do I have a Macquarie concept helmet? No, I don't have a Macquarie concept helmet. I have a couple of friends that do. I think they're cool. I don't think it's something I'll own, at least not anytime soon. But they're very cool helmets. And then as far as the most rewarding troop, man, that's a tough question. Now, I'd say some of the most rewarding troops we have had so far, for me, have been the times where we've sent off Make-A-Wish children at the airport, which we've done 2 times, which was just fantastic and awesome and unbelievably cool to be able to do that. And then I think probably the other one is when we've gone into, the hospital troops are always super rewarding, even though they can be kind of hard, but going and seeing specific patients, like the one where I handed out the patch to the little boy, that was fantastic. But what made that even more fantastic was then months and months and months later, we got to do the hero walk, which there's also a video of, and we saw so many of those kids now, like, they'd made it through all of their, whatever they were dealing with in the hospital, and they were back to running around and playing on grass and stuff like that. So that was just unbelievably cool, because so many of them remembered us too and came running over to us to say hi, and that was just really unbelievably awesome. So Connor says the Kylo and Novus is a thing of beauty, but for the price currently, it ranks as such a step up to gain a helmet that's only marginally better than a JJ and Addo or modified BS. That's true. And like Tom Megtooth, I think you still wear your Black Series that you modded, if I'm not mistaken. And the Black Series Kylo helmet can be modded to be extremely good looking and really, really accurate. And then some of the other, like the Addo casts and the JJ casts, are really, really good. The thing about the Anovus is, it like came directly off the original, was scanned and then printed or made directly off the original. So it's super accurate, but you have this price tier of going for $100 Black Series modded, so some hours of work for sure, to an $800 Kylo helmet. And how much you gain for that is what you would call diminishing returns, right? So you can take a giant jump in quality going from like the kid Halloween Kylo mask to a Black Series. Like, that's a big jump in quality, not such a big jump in price, because it's, say $20 to $100. But then if you go from $100 and, so let's say that's like 70% better, 80% better, modified BS, or, well, it's probably like 100% better, really. But the jump from the modified, a really well modified Black Series, to jump to an Anovus helmet, which is $800, is like, you might be getting 10% or 20%, maybe 20% more accurate, for a huge, 8 times the cost. So that's kind of how that ends up working. And not to knock people who wear Black Series or people who wear Anovus, like, that's fine. I'm just saying, you can go either way. So, yeah, Meg Tooth modded. Did you do the Disney faceplate mod to yours, Tom? I can't remember if you did or not. Anyway, Arthas has 3 questions when it comes to the 501st outings. What was your best moment, worst moment, and most embarrassing moment? Most embarrassing moment. I don't know if I've had a really embarrassing moment yet. Brian, if he's on the stream, or I'm sure could remind me if I have. And anyway, um, best moment I think is anytime getting to meet and really interact with a child and that's going through a rough time and see their face, just they totally forget about what they're dealing with for the moment and go into another place. So that's really cool. Worst moment was an early on troop I did at a school before I really knew what I was doing. And I walked into a dark room that I didn't realize was full of children, and I had nobody supporting, no support crew, nobody watching out for me, nobody. And all of a sudden I couldn't see a thing. All I could hear was like 1,000 voices going, "It's Darth Vader," and footsteps coming toward me. And that was terrifying. So most embarrassing moment, like by far would have been, but it didn't happen, if I had fallen on the ice when we were doing the Aces games stuff. So, Brian says being goosed by drunk ladies. Yes, that's happened a few times. So yeah, geez. Let's see. Novus shipping is the worst. Yes, it is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate that. So, Tom, you modded. I didn't realize you modded the chrome ridges just beyond getting rid of the speaker holes, or so on and so forth. You did do the jawline. I was pretty sure you did. And yeah. And the cool thing about that is, like, now you can sit there and say that you like, that's your helmet. I mean, you made that helmet basically, because by the time you get done modding, at least from what I know of your mod, from following your thread on the SLD, like, you modded that thing big time. And it's cool to be able to go, yeah, I made this helmet basically. So I think that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, for an accuracy standpoint, you've got it. It's there. Yeah. And the thing too that I remind people a lot, and this is coming from me, all of my Vader stuff is top tier. It's the best that you can possibly get right now. But 99% of the public, like, when they see anybody dressed in black, it's Vader to them. I mean, literally anybody dressed in black with a helmet on is called Vader at most of our events. And so now we have 4, because we have a TIE pilot, Shadow Trooper. Anyway, so literally, like, you can wear just about anything that looks like a Vader costume, and people will know it's Vader, and especially kids. So yeah, I don't knock people or judge people for not going like top tier everything. And the same thing with the Novus, like with the Kylo helmets. Like Tom Megtooth has a fantastic Kylo helmet that he modded heavily himself and created this really great piece that cost him considerably less than a Novus helmet. And it looks great and it works and it's fantastic. And some people, they get like the Novus helmet because they want to know that they have the best, or well, at least perceive the best or the most accurate or whatever. And some of that's debatable anyway. And I just, either one, in my opinion, when a kid comes, if a kid's standing before Tom in his Kylo, they see Kylo. Unless they see Vader, which happens sometimes. And if he was wearing an Novus helmet or a Black Series helmet that he modded, it wouldn't matter. They see Kylo Ren and they're super excited to meet Kylo Ren. Same thing with Vader. Like, I could be wearing my helmet or I could be wearing the Black Series helmet, which, yeah, anyway. But to a kid, they're going to see Vader. And so that's what happens, which is cool. The wrist brace, James. Thanks for asking. I was wondering if anyone was going to notice that. I did something today. I don't know what I did, but my wrist started hurting really, really badly. So it's either the weather, the rain, the winds, and all that. But I was also doing a lot of hard but fine finger work doing my job today. And so I think I just pushed a tendon too hard or something like that. So that's what's up with the wrist brace. It's letting my wrist relax and hopefully get better. Yeah, TIE pilots, exactly. I swear, if anybody's dressed in black, like cape, no cape, doesn't matter. If they have a helmet on, they're going to be called Darth Vader. Like, that's what's going to happen. So anyway, yeah, that's my other favorite thing is Justin say this, like when we're out there, it's unbelievable how many times you hear people, let's go take pictures with the Star Wars, like not the Star Wars people or characters. Anyway, it's the Star Wars. Let's go take a picture with the Star Wars, which is funny to me. Anyway, MKT Aaron asks if I'm going to do any other impressions besides Vader. I am. And one of them is, well, two of them are sort of in process now. So I want to do a Wookiee down the road someday, and I want to do another costume I'm keeping secret for now. So, yeah, someday. Connor says parents call me Vader and kids correct them. I find it's true. I think kids, especially kids that have seen The Force Awakens and stuff, like they're quicker to go, wait, that's not Darth Vader. That's Kylo Ren. Like they know that, and they know that Vader's different. Whereas a lot of times parents, especially if they weren't into Star Wars, like it's a guy dressed in black. It must be Darth Vader because Darth Vader's kind of synonymous with Star Wars in a lot of ways because he was so heavily merchandised and just, it's pretty iconic anyway. Jeremy says, if anyone has a Stormtrooper helmet from ROTJ, you'd like to have one of them for your collection. Yeah. Brian says, would they see Vader if they had a Ruby's helmet on? They would. It's so sad. Dark helmet? Probably. Dark helmet would work too. I wouldn't do it unless I was doing the whole dark helmet costume, which I'm not going to. And I wouldn't wear Ruby's helmet either. So I would rather just be a support crew if that was the case. So every single troop. That's true. Every single troop. Oh, Jeremy says, could you get away with being dark helmet? You could. The dark helmet is huge. It's got to be bigger than your shoulders and it's giant. It's like however tall you are, the helmet needs to be at least 1/3 of that size. Like it's giant. It's giant. And it's got to be heavy. I can't imagine that it doesn't just weigh a ton. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I think the wind is dying down now. It's supposed to die down about 7, so hopefully that's about done. So far it's been good. We haven't lost power, haven't lost connection, so we're going. We're doing good. Arturo says gloves sometimes fold forward. You mean like in here, like that part folds forward? Because them having a little crease and a little line right around here is actually really, really screen accurate. Because if you look at almost every picture of Vader or screen grab, like his gloves aren't back all the way. They're always shifted forward, and there's a little wrinkle and a crease right here. So that's really accurate. Now, if they fold all the way forward, like and flop, like that's too much, and you definitely don't want that. So how do you avoid that? I don't know how you can avoid that with leather because you don't want to really stiffen the leather. Really, you could put something inside of the flare, maybe a little bits of plastic or something like that. And that would help keep it straight a bit. Yeah, anyway. Arthas asks what happened to my arm. I did something today when I was working. I don't know what. And I think partly it was maybe a combination of the weather that has been cold and wet, and it was 100-mile-an-hour winds today. And then I was working a lot, trying to grab heavy objects with my fingertips, which probably wasn't the best idea. So that's why I've got the wrist brace on. Just hopefully it'll get better. Anyway. Yeah. So that's the that's the scoop on that. Jeremy, you're 6'4". That's fantastic. I'm 6'4". We can be best friends. 6'4" buddies. Yeah, so 6'4" is a great height to do Vader because you can get real close to the really accurate height without doing anything. Just between the boots and the helmet, you'll be up around 6'8", 6'9", if you do everything the way it should be done. And if you don't slouch, gotta stand there with your shoulders back and chest out and stuff. So, Connor, you think you asked the other day, but do you have any plans to install some kind of sound fonts in your Vader or future Wookiee? You have yours for Kylo controlled Bluetooth remote on your speaker. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Bluetooth remote to your speaker. Yeah, I've thought about it for Vader. I probably won't. I've thought about doing one of the glove things where you have triggers in your glove, to have like positive and negative responses. The trouble is it's so much stuff that has to be put on your back, and then there's so many points of failure because you have cables running up your arms, with tiny little plugs, and then tiny little tactile switches everywhere, and then it all goes into a little computer in the back, and there's more points. It's so many points of failure, that I don't want to do that. I just basically, when I'm not being lazy and I do a really good James Earl Jones impression, which is honestly not that often because a lot of times I'm just lazy, then it comes across okay. And it helps. It just helps to sell the costume. I'm not James Earl Jones. But yeah, so that's it. For the Wookiee, the plan is that Brian and I are going to practice a lot. I've already been practicing a little bit just because. But yeah, I've used, there's an app that you can like talk and it'll spit out Jawa sounds or Tusken sounds or Wookiee sounds, and that's great, except for that you don't have any control over what types of sounds come out. So you might like be going to greet a kid and it growls at them, or you don't have any control over like what types of sounds, whether it's like a positive or a negative sound. And so I want to be able to control that at least. So I'm going to work on doing a Wookiee just with my voice. Hopefully I can get pretty close. So Arthas, you thought you were tall at 6'2". Yeah, I'm 6'4". I am 6'4". I've been 6'4" since I was 17. And yeah, I actually finally gained weight when I hit about 30 because I was 17 and 160 pounds and I was 6'4". So if you can imagine, I was a toothpick. But the fact is I could eat everything I ever wanted, and all that energy just went into growing up, because one summer I grew 5 or 6 inches in 4 months, which wasn't fun, but it happened and I survived. So yeah, it's good. And actually being Vader and now thinking about and working toward doing a Wookiee is the first time that I've been glad that I hit my head on so many things because I'm so tall. And so, because now this height is paying off, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Anyway, it just, that's the way it works. So, but yeah, I like not having to use a lot of lifts or something like that. I will use lifts. I'll probably try and do like 6-inch boots or something for my Wookiee when I do that. I want to hit at least 7'1" to 7'2". So that's what my goal. But Vader, I don't have to, because I'm 6'9" ish. If I'm standing really straight, I'm 6'9", 6'10" in costume. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah. So there's that. No sports cars for you, Jeremy? Yeah, me either. It's really hard to get down into cars, and I get tired of that real fast. So, Connor, send me some pictures of that. I'm curious to see what you've got going, or a video or something of it working. I'd like to see that. So, Arturo asks, is it true that Prowse got shorter from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi? Yes, he did, because he has arthritis in his knees. And this is also, I get this question every once in a while in my Suiting Up as Vader tutorial, why the shins are different lengths is because David Prowse had 2 different lengths shins. Like his right shin was taller than his left shin. And so they sculpted the shins directly onto his life cast of his legs. And that's why they're different heights. And he had arthritis since he was little. Now, he did lots of weightlifting and it took care of it for a long time. But then when he did A New Hope and he was 40. And so he was, accounts vary. He was 6'6", 6'7", somewhere in there. And then by Empire Strikes Back, he was down a little bit, like 6'5" or so, and then by Return of the Jedi, he was 6'4", in the 6'4" range. And it was because he started losing height from the arthritis. Because he was aging. He was almost 50 when he did Return of the Jedi. So, yeah. Spy Hunter said, the feeling being 6'6", it has an upside and downside. It does, doesn't it? And it's 6'6", you could definitely feel it. But like, you ever get tired of people saying, hey, could you get that for me? Could you reach that? And then I swear, if there's anything low, I will find it to hit it with my head. In fact, I was working at a job, and there was a door that hadn't been cut out completely. It was just this little lip of plywood at the top of the door because the door hadn't been installed yet. And I hit my head on that thing twice, and it was just enough to like clip the top of my head right here. So finally I grabbed a saw and I cut it out, and I did it very angrily because I was so pissed. Anyway, yeah. So, oh yeah, there we go. But at 6'6", you could do a fantastic Vader or a fantastic Wookiee if you wanted to. That would be great. So Vader promoting Verizon. Yeah. Prowse wasn't in Revenge of the Sith. No. And Hayden Christensen is not. He's what is he, 6'2"? He's like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2" or so. So they had to heft him up a little bit and pat him out a little bit so he looked a little bit more Vader-esque, because Prowse was a big dude. Anyway, I mean, right now I'm about 220, and fortunately it's not a lot of just, jiggly mass. I'm fairly fit. But Prowse in A New Hope, he was like 270, 260, 270. And his weight fluctuated quite a bit, and how he carried it fluctuated quite a bit, but he was a big guy. Yeah, you figure 270 pounds in pretty much just solid muscle. That's a big dude. So yeah. Let's see what's happening, beautiful people. Oh, hey, Wolf. Welcome. Yes, I grabbed a saw and I cut that plywood off because after the second time of hitting my head, I had it. I was so mad, and it was so stupid. It was like, because everything else had been cut out properly. I don't know why this one particular spot had not been cut out, but I guess it was because I hadn't cut it out yet. So anyway, but it's cut out now. That's gone. Spy Hunter, you're trying to lose weight and trying to make a Vader suit in the next few months. That's fantastic. Good. I hope you do. I know for me, like when I started doing Vader, it motivated me, and it still motivates me, although I like it too. But it motivated me to be much more consistent in exercising and hitting the gym. It just did. I mean, I'm not trying to bulk up and be, 280 pounds of muscle and be a huge bodybuilder or anything like that, but it definitely motivated me to be more fit and more in shape. Yeah. So that makes it easier to carry the costume around when I'm wearing it. Hey, Juan, good to catch you. Glad you made it. So let's see. Jeremy says we have our own weather system. Yes. Neil asks if someone who is 5'11" pull off an authentic Vader. Yes, absolutely. I know a few people who are 5'8", and between boots, lifts, helmet, they're pushing 6'2", 6'3" in costume. So, which is fantastic. If you can get over 6 foot for Vader, you're doing great, especially to a kid. Like, you're going to be towering to a kid if you're over 6 feet. So, you could definitely do it. Arthas, you still don't know why they didn't use Prowse for the unmasked Vader, and yeah, it was a bummer. It's unfortunate how all that worked out, but and I don't know if we'll ever know the real story. I mean, there's the two sides, and who knows what was going on. I wish that they've been able to use Prowse more consistently. Like in Empire Strikes Back, half the scenes with Vader are Bob Anderson. and you can tell because he's a lot smaller and the belt's different. Like any scene you see where the belt has one stud next to the belt buckle in Empire Strikes Back, that was Bob Anderson. That was the stunt Vader suit. And so just, I wish they could have used him more consistently, because Prowse had the physique and he had the attitude that made Vader so much of what Vader was in those movies. So it's a shame they couldn't use him for the reveal scene, or they didn't use him for the reveal scene. Anyway. Yeah, exactly, Connor. Yep. 6 feet and you're good. So the height struggle is real. Yeah, I know. Well, and I'm starting to realize what it's like for some people who want to do Vader, who are, around 6 foot, and they're trying to hit like 6'9" something when they're in Vader, is doing a Wookiee going, I've got to wear platform shoes to like get my height up there. And then I've got to figure out a way to do it that it doesn't look weird, that it looks right and normal. So I think between 6 and 7 inches, I should be okay. Yeah. Anyway, I hope so. Oh man. Anyway, Juan Carlos says because Prowse was ugly as coal and that terrible Scottish accent. Yeah, that could be part of it, I think. I mean, I also think Lucas and Prowse were pretty deep into the feud that they've had by then too, and so I think that played a lot into it. I mean, because they could have done any number of things to Prowse to make him look like what they wanted to, which was ugly. I mean, he was all scarred and beaten up anyway. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Spy Hunters. So, since the Black Series helmet might work good replacement with a little mod, I guess you're talking about the Black Series Kylo helmet. Continue your thought. So, Cywolf, you're 6'4" every year when you meet a new batch of 5 years old. You're always sitting before they get to the classroom. Yeah, that's a good plan. They might get a little bit intimidated if you were standing there when they walked in the room. So, yeah, Connor, I agree. Prowse got pretty badly worked over by Lucasfilm. It is a shame, because he was a big part of making Star Wars what it is. So, yeah. Oh, the Vader helmet that came out last week. I don't think it'll work good like as a helmet to wear trooping. I mean, it won't work for 501st approval. I can tell you that right now. Now for a helmet for display, especially pulled apart, yeah, because it has a lot of really cool details in it. But yeah, now for a Halloween costume, sure, it would work great. Yeah, work really, really good. So, you can pull off Shrek easily. Yeah, well, and I've seen that, the I'm Your Father documentary. It is pretty good, and it does tell Prowse's side, and I'm super bummed that he retired, because I really, really was hoping that maybe there was some way I could get my helmet signed by him. But there's probably no way now, unless I flew over and went to his house, which I don't think they're really keen on just telling me where he lives. So, but yeah, I would like to have seen that, or I would like to have done that. Yeah, it would have been cool to see him unmasked. Yeah, because if you haven't seen the I Am Your Father, I think it's on Netflix. And it might be other places too, but basically they wanted to reshoot the unmasking scene with David Prowse. And Lucasfilm would not give him permission to do it, and I'm sure they have their reasons for that. But it would have been neat to see, at least what it looked like and what would have been maybe possible then. So, yeah. And, yeah, I mean, some of it might have been the acting capability or the look, but, I mean, you can do anything with makeup, and acting for a few lines, I think, can be taught for sure. Yeah, the Kylo Black Series is proof it can be done, Connor. That's true. And then, one or two of their other helmets is actually really close too. It's really interesting. But the Vader helmet, it's a complicated helmet. It really is complicated. So the proportions and the shape and everything is tough. So, yeah, that's true. it could have been Prowse's big break in acting. So Prowse, I mean, he did a lot of acting. He was in a lot of other things, and he was known, you know, and it, you know, Star Wars and Vader definitely were probably his largest or most well-known roles. Not that people know that it was him, but that was, you know, the character of Vader that he brought, and James Earl Jones brought. But yeah, anyway. Good night, Neil. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to be tuning off here pretty soon too, so you're not going to miss much. But thanks for tuning in. It's good to see you. Yeah. Anyway, I actually do need to get going as well because it's getting late and my kids need to go to bed and I need to go put them in bed or they'll never get in bed. So, yeah. And yes, that's true, Cywolf. He was the Green Cross Code Man. He also was in Clockwork Orange, which was a pretty big role for him and a movie. And then he was in lots of other things, but he was also in lots of other things as creatures like that because of his physique and his size. You know, he's Frankenstein and a lot of stuff like that. And kind of the same thing with the guy that they had play Vader for a lot of Rogue One. Like, he's done a lot of movies, but you don't see him because he's usually in makeup and acting as a creature. And so, you know, anyway, that's the way it is. Connor says Prowse, better known in the UK. Yeah, definitely, probably better known in the UK, because he was out there. I mean, he was there a lot more, and then the Green Cross Code Man was a big deal there too. So, yeah, I agree with you on the Black Series Vader helmet. It is exactly that. So if you're gonna look for if you want a good, accurate but inexpensive Vader helmet, the best one you could get right now for that fits those things is the EFX A New Hope Vader helmet. That's the best. Yeah, Spencer Wilding, Arthas. That's exactly. Before Rogue One, he played a lot. He's been in a ton of movies, but he's almost always playing a monster or something, like in tons of makeup. So it's not like he didn't have a face that you'd recognize a lot. Because of his roles, but he's been in a lot of movies, and a lot of it, the case was true with Dave Prowse too. Like, he was in quite a few movies, but his face wasn't necessarily something you go, oh, that's Dave Prowse, because he was always in creature makeup. Anyway, so well, everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. It was a pleasure as always to chat with you all, and hopefully Tuesday Night Live is going to be a regular thing. Or at least fairly as regular as I can keep it. So we chat and have conversations about Star Wars and about stuff like that, whatever it ends up being. So, I answer one more question because I see Juan just asked a Saber question. If the Luxon Tri or the Kree XP is better, the Kree XP is by far the brightest LED on the market right now for in-hilt LEDs for sabers. So I would go with the Tri-Kree for sure. Hey, Vader Nation, it has been a long time. So I'm just signing off. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing to this channel. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Before I go, big news. There's a 360 video coming of our most recent troop, which actually would probably come before the troop before that I've been editing for seemingly forever. But the 360 video is, I have it all downloaded. I have it all put together. I just need to finish editing some of it. It's going to be different because it was very much just it's a 360 video. So you can look around, like you put your, use a phone or a mobile device or put it in a headset and look around. You can see basically whatever you want to see in our troop. So it'll be different, but it might be fun. And so when I put it out, I would love to hear your comments. I'm going to put it out tomorrow, whether you like it or dislike it, or what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and what you think, might make it better. Because I'm really curious. The whole 360 camera thing is really interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's coming. That'll be out tomorrow. And really excited about that, to see what that ends up like. So I'd be very curious to hear your all thoughts about it. And yeah. Other than that, thanks again, everybody who watches this stream and watches these videos and subscribes to this channel. I really appreciate it. I love chatting with you all. I will see you again soon in the next video and next week for another live stream. So cheers, everybody. Talk